If you don't follow Level 1, well, we do monitor reviews among other things. I've been called a nerd's nerd. This has also been called the Fringe Aspie channel. But my friends at Pixio have put out an IPS 2560 by 1440 display that's 165 hertz. Usually don't have all those things. It's 165 hertz but not IPS, or IPS and not 165 hertz, 27 inch, WQHD. That's a pretty good gaming monitor because 4K gaming's not there yet unless you've got very deep pockets. It's the PX7 Prime, like Optimus. Let's take a look. Now the first clever thing Pixio has done here, reusable box. So if you LAN party a lot, there you go. In terms of fit and finish, the monitor has a very professional look. It's a matte black plastic, very thin bezels, very well put together. It is a height adjustable stand, so it's got a premium stand. That is part of the price that you're paying with this monitor. It does have a standard 100mm VESA mount if you elect not to use the stand. The monitor is almost fully assembled. All you gotta do is put in 3 Phillips screws for the bottom clampy thing, you're good to go. It does rotate on the stand, so if you're getting a couple of monitors and you want to position the stand a certain way and have it be continuous or whatever, you can totally do that. In terms of inputs, this monitor has 2 165 Hz DisplayPort inputs and 1 144 HDMI input port. It also has a USB service port and an earphone port, but HDMI 144 Hz, DisplayPort 165 Hz. Those are the inputs that you're likely going to use in this monitor, but 2 DisplayPort inputs means that you could toggle back and forth between a couple of machines. Maybe you've got a laptop and a gaming desktop, something like that. You can use the 2 inputs to toggle between those 2 machines a little easier. One thing to note is the monitor does require an external power brick, so it doesn't have any internal 110 volt to DC circuitry. It's just got good old external power bricks. I kind of like this for the replaceability, serviceability, because a lot of the time when a monitor power supply goes bad, it's easier to replace a brick than something internal. I don't know how often that kind of a failure really happens anymore. I don't see it as much as I used to, but in terms of heat production, that sort of thing, it's mostly going to be this. So it is nice that this is an external brick if you're worried about heat production inside the monitor or something like that. Hey, that's a number that I like to see, 2.7 milliseconds. That display is awesome. For a 60 Hz signal, this is about the fastest that you can expect. 60 milliseconds is 1/60th of a second, is 16.6 milliseconds. By the time the display gets to the very end of the frame, only 17.2 milliseconds have passed. This is an excellent result for a gaming monitor. And it's especially impressive for an IPS display, because usually, historically, when we've done these types of measurements, an IPS display has had to buffer a frame before actually displaying it to get the colors just right. So let's see how good the color accuracy actually is. Now things get a little interesting. When we dig into the technical specifications, we see IPS. No, it's AAS. AAS is an IPS type panel that's supposed to give the color depth and range of an IPS display, but is insanely way faster. And if we take a look at the high speed test, we can see this display is in fact insanely way faster than a typical IPS display. Pixio claims a gray to gray time of about 4 milliseconds, and I think that's right in line with what other manufacturers would claim in terms of the gray to gray time for their panels. We're looking at about a 5.5 millisecond time for the transition squares in the UFO chase test. So that's not bad. If we run the other tests, like the sharpness test and adjacent pixels, and look for other clues, the monitor does pretty well. And the color layout's not bad. There's a color calibration profile for the monitor on the website. I'll show the color calibration and let you be the judge in terms of what you think. It does advertise that it's pretty good for DCI P3. Well, here's the actual DCI P3 results. You can also see the Adobe RGB and the sRGB color space for this monitor. It is a different panel type than perhaps we've seen, but not bad. It's pretty interesting. I'm rerunning the calibration after the monitor's been on for a few hours just to make sure everything is working and okay and perfectly consistent. Sometimes I think the studio lights directly on the monitor, maybe not the best thing, so tweak things in here a little bit. Oh, and in case you were wondering about the monitor sub-pixel layout, it's RGB. Good old RGB, compatible with everything. Great for Windows, great for Linux, because everything assumes RGB pixel layout. RGB. All in all, what's the verdict On the Pixio PX7 Prime, would Optimus approve? Or is this a Decepticon something? I don't know, I better not say that. Hasbro might get mad. It's expensive. It's 2560 by 1440, but it's 165 hertz. It's more expensive than 2560 by 1440 monitors that are beyond 60 hertz. Linus has done a lot of content lately with pro gamers about whether or not frames matter. The jury's still out on that for me personally, a little bit. I did personally upgrade to a ridiculously overpriced 4K 120 hertz monitor and all of the overpriced gaming stuff to go with it. So I'm trying to see if there's something to the 4K thing. Like, I just kind of want to experience it, just to see if I can still feel something. We all feel the call of the void. It's fine. It's fine. Back to work. It's been another level 1 monitor review. If you liked it, updude it. If not, I guess you could downdude it. I gotta learn to do better somehow. Oh, he's trying. I'm Wendell. I'm signing out. You can find me in the level 1 forums. If you like the color profile, or I missed something, or want me to test something, by all means, let me know. In the forum or the comments below, engagement challenge, I don't know. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. Okay, I go now.